All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division where people are getting their hopes up because a one Turkey Ale Sheikh has said that he wants to talk to Gervonta Davis and Al Haymon about making a Devin Haney fight in Saudi Arabia. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 135-pound division, and I've picked the 135-pound division because that is the relevant issue, not the rest of the stuff that people are talking about. However, more fuel has been added to the fire of the Gervonta Davis needs to do whatever he has to do in order to get in the ring with Devin Haney, because that's the fight that the people want to see. Now, a sheikh from Saudi Arabia, who the man that is responsible for that really big card that took place with Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, also Anthony Joshua now in Francis Ngannou, also Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou, is saying that he wants to make the fight between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney. So people are saying now, oh, there's all this money available for the fight. We need to do the fight. Let's make the fight. Before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a long-time subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It really means a big deal to the channel. Thank you so much for your consideration and your support. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super thanks. Shout out to my guy, Chillville. Glad you liked your video. This one is not about Terrence Crawford, but look, I appreciate you saying you with the positive words in the comment section. So thank you, Fi. All right, so let's get into this, okay? There's supposed to now suddenly be a bunch of money out in Saudi Arabia to allow a fight between Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney to take place. A report was put out, or an interview was made on DAZN, in which Gervonta Davis's name was linked to Devin Haney, and in a question being asked, I suspect by DAZN and Adi Oladepe, hope I'm not mispronouncing his name, to this sheikh whose name I'm not going to continue to mispronounce. They said, tell Al Haymon. Once again, people talking through the media to Al Haymon as if Al Haymon doesn't have a phone, and you can't make a call, especially somebody as wealthy as him, to Al Haymon to talk about it, right? But regardless, now everybody's like, yeah, we're doing it, but Gervonta Davis won't do it. Look, man, this is my thing, and I don't care what they say over there on DAZN, okay? Because that is a fight that is on DAZN, and if it's over in Saudi Arabia, fine, whatever the case is. But here the thing is, if you need that sheikh to put a ton of money behind it to be able to afford to make a fight between a kid from Baltimore, Maryland, and another kid from Las Vegas, that is the problem. The problem, and along with the fact that there's a weight problem in this fight. A very real weight problem in this fight. Gervonta Davis is a 130-pound fighter fighting at 135 pounds. He's about 5'5". He is one of the smaller guys at 135 pounds. Devin Haney is walking in the ring at over 170 pounds. And if he was at welterweight, he'd be one of the bigger welterweights. Okay, so the issue is not the money in the fight necessarily, even though how much are you going to be willing to pay Gervonta Davis to go fight a guy 2 weight classes up from him halfway across the world when he literally just did a $23 million gate in Las Vegas. He does $5 million gates everywhere he goes, and his fan base that has been so loyal and supportive to him is in the United States. What sense does it to make for him to go for a one-off check to Saudi Arabia to fight Devin Haney if Devin Haney is not going to fight him at 135 pounds in Saudi Arabia? Devin Haney, if he wants to fight Gervonta Davis, is going to have to fight at the same weight class as Gervonta Davis. Having somebody come in and say, well, I'm just going to dump a ton of money on this and see if Gervonta Davis is willing to take that type of risk against a guy who, again, is not in the same weight class as him. When we talk about guys like Gervonta Davis and Monster Inoue fighting, that's why Gervonta Davis said every time you ask Gervonta Davis about fighting a guy that's at 122 pounds, it's like, man, come on, we're nowhere near the same weight. I'm not making that fight. When Gervonta Davis was asked and people were trying to put Gervonta Davis up for a fight with Keith Thurman, he said, man, what do you think I am, Superman? I'm not fighting up at 147 pounds. When he fought Ryan Garcia, he wasn't willing to fight Ryan Garcia at above 136 pounds into 140 pounds. Now, if he wants to do it, okay, he wants to do it. If he decides they're going to give Gervonta Davis $100 million to go to Saudi Arabia to fight Devin Haney, okay, he can do it. If he doesn't do it, you're not going to hear a word out of me for this, because once again, there are weight classes in boxing for a reason. And nobody has to give Devin Haney a 30-pound weight division or he's soft. No more than Devin Haney has to go to Saudi Arabia to go fight Jaron Ennis, who's only one weight class above him and weighs in less the day before, literally weighs in less than he does in the same day weigh-ins at 147 pounds. So if the Sheikh wants to pay some money for big fights, how about Devin Haney versus Subriel Matias? How about Gervonta Davis versus Shakur Stevenson? Guys that are in the same weight class, that are the same size, man. All of this back and forth talk going on between people did not change the fact that these guys are not in the same weight class. I am not going to sit there and say because all of a sudden, and this is only a slightly bigger exaggeration, that if Arthur Beterbiev all of a sudden starts saying, I want Canelo Alvarez, I want Canelo Alvarez, I want Canelo Alvarez, I'm not going to say that Canelo Alvarez, even though he moved up, fought at 175 against Sergey Kovalev and against Dmitry Bivol, needs to fight Arthur Beterbiev, do it again because he did it one time. He doesn't owe anything. He doesn't owe that. If he wants to stay at 168 and fight those guys at 168, what's the problem with that, man? Look, again, I would really like to talk about realistic fights that can be made with people in weight classes. Once a guy leaves a weight class, outgrows a weight class, moves up, and then talks about not just moving to 140, but talks about moving to 147. Come on, man. I'm not asking Gervonta Davis to fight Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford started at 135, had a short layover at 140, then went to 147. What's the difference between Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford in that regard? He's going to wind up being in the same place. So if we want to see the big fight for Devin Haney, I'm telling you, the big fight for Devin Haney is the guys his own size, not guys where you're going to have to even have conversations about rehydration clauses and catch weights. Why is that talk about catch weights and rehydrations even around? Because Devin's not in the same weight class. If those guys were in the same weight class, then there wouldn't be any issue with it. The guys could weigh in at the same amount. That's the issue with the fight, not the talking, not the money, because Gervonta Davis's fights always pull in plenty of money. Always pull in plenty of money. For him, Devin Haney, if he wanted to stay at 135, could have done what he needed to do to get that fight. Stay at Showtime, but that's not what he wanted to do. He wanted to go to the zone. He wanted to chase the different accolades that he had. But anyway, man, this is all smoke and mirrors, man, and something that we don't have to do because there's a better fight right there at 135 between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko and Shakur Stevenson. All those fights are there at 135. Navrati and Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis doesn't, and I'm telling you, I've been to fights with Gervonta Davis. I've been to Gervonta Davis's fights. I've stood right next to the guy. He has no business fighting guys at 140 and 147 pounds. He's a little itty bitty man. He's not, the knockouts and all that stuff aside, anybody that is at 140 and 147 calling him out, it's ridiculous, man. Fight people your own size, man, and stop trying to bait this dude up into a situation where he has to make himself highly uncomfortable as far as the weight of the fighters that he's fighting. Same thing went for Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is way bigger than Gervonta Davis is. Way bigger. So is Mario Barrios. Significantly bigger than that man. Matter of fact, I was ringside and for the Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz fight. Leo Santa Cruz was significantly better than this little dude in this ring. If you're just looking at highlight reels and stuff, you may not catch it. But when you look at him and you see him in person, you see it very, very clearly. Dude, Gervonta Davis is smaller than O'Shaquie Foster is at 135, at the 130-pound champion. He's smaller than Navrati is, the 130-pound champion. Now, muscle-wise, he probably is bigger than Nonito Donaire, but I've stood right next to Nonito Donaire. I've stood right next to Gervonta Davis. And when they're just in their clothes walking around, Nonito Donaire, the guy fighting at 122 pounds, 126 and 118, looks bigger than Gervonta Davis does. Stuff is just ridiculous. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.